Hi, students, and welcome to our lesson today. And today we are going to expand or add, I should say, linear expressions, but we'll start with our do now. And our do now asks a question today about empathy, and we'll talk about what that means. Our objective is to add linear expressions. Our essential question is how can we add linear expressions, and how do we know when to use the power rule? We're going to complete our do now. We're going to complete the work page, which is 8 problems, complete our exit ticket, and you know the most important thing, show your work to the teacher. If you haven't finished everything in class, you can finish it for homework. And let's remember that Pi Day is coming and big math credit is being offered for participation, a minimum of 40 digits. So we will come back to our exit ticket in a bit when we're done our lesson, but let's start with our do now. So our question today is about empathy. Empathy, what does that mean? Empathy means truly trying to imagine what it would feel like to be another person and to feel with them. So you don't feel bad for them. That's sympathy. You feel bad with them. You try to actually feel what they feel. So the question is, how can you show empathy for someone if you have not experienced their specific pain? So suppose you have a friend who loses a loved one and you've not lost a loved one. How could you show empathy? You'd really have to work hard to be in their shoes and feel their pain. But that's what empathy is. Maybe someone got hurt and, broke their leg or something really serious, and you've never had that happen to you. But how could you be empathetic? How could you feel their pain? It takes a lot of compassion to do that. So I'd like you to think about that, and I'd like you to write about that right here. Good job. So let's go forward with our lesson. Today we are adding linear expressions. You can add them vertically or horizontally, and the steps are: 1, to use the distributive property if necessary. We've done that. 2 is to combine like terms. We've done some of that. And 3 is to write your final expression so that the exponents, and we'll talk about those more, decrease from left to right. So if you have an exponent of x to the 4th and x to the 5th, and you have x without an exponent, which is an invisible one, you would write them in this order, with the largest exponent decreasing to the smallest exponent. So let's start with number 1. It says to find each sum. So we have negative 7x plus 9, negative 9, plus 2 plus 8x. Now, what can go together and what can't go together? We have to think about that. So if we've got negative 7x, let's look at the like terms, plus negative 8x, they add up to negative 15x. Now we have negative 9 plus 2, so negative 9 plus 2 is a negative 7, and that's our answer. So why don't you try this one? Don't be fooled by the negative signs, and pause and come back. Okay, we are a little bit out of order. We're going across today. That's okay. We've got negative 3x minus negative 8 plus x minus 11. Let's start with the x terms. We have negative 3x plus x. So negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2x. Now, we've got this negative 11 on the right, but on the left, we are subtracting a negative 8. Whenever we subtract a negative, it's the same thing as adding. So this becomes addition. It's negative 11 plus 8, which would be negative 3. Let's come over here to number 2. So we've got 9x plus 4 plus negative x minus 10. So 9x minus 8x is 1x. Well, the 1 is invisible. We don't write 1x, we just write x. And then we have plus 4 plus minus 10. So that would be 4 plus 10, plus a negative 10, excuse me, I didn't write that correctly. 4 plus a negative 10. So that would be negative 6. And that's our final answer there. Number 6, we have 5 times the quantity of 10 minus 5x. Then we're adding 2 minus 6x squared. First, we have to distribute. 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times negative 5x is negative 25x plus 2 minus 6x squared. So now we've got to combine like terms. We have negative 25x minus 6x squared, but we can't combine those. They're not like terms, so let's not do that. So negative 25x appears to be the only x term we have. Well, what else do we have? We have 50 plus 2, so that's our 52. We can combine those. But look at this negative 6x squared. That's all by itself. So we're going to start by writing that because we write the highest exponent first. 6x squared. Now we've got our negative 25x. And now we have the 50 plus the 2 plus 52. And negative 6x squared minus 25x plus 52 is our final answer. Now number 3, we have 2 multiplied by the quantity of negative 8x minus 2 plus the quantity of 20 plus negative 4. So we have to distribute. Negative 2 times negative 8 is negative 16x, or positive 2 times negative 8 is negative 16x. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. And then we've got plus 20 plus a negative 4. You can put that in parentheses if you want. I don't like to have signs next to each other without parentheses. Now, what can I combine? I've got negative 4 plus 20 minus 4. Think of it like this. Negative 4 plus 20 minus 4. Well, negative 4 plus 20 is 16, minus 4 is 12. So this amount here equals 12. So it's negative 16x plus 12, because when I added that up, I got 12. So this is our final answer for number 3. Now, number 7, we just have to be very careful when we line up decimals. We have the quantity of 0.5x plus 0.6 plus 2 times the quantity of 1.5x minus 0.75. We need to distribute first. I think I'm going to change the color so it's a little clearer. So first we distribute. So I'll just copy the first part of the problem. I don't need those parentheses anymore. 0.5x plus 0.6 plus, now I distribute. 2 times 1 1/2 is 3. So that's 3x. And 2 times 0.75 is 1.5, and it's a positive times a negative, so it's a negative 1.5. Now, what can be combined? I have 0.5x and 3x. So 3x plus 0.5x is 3.5x. So I'll write that first, 3.5x. And then I have 0.6, I'll write that up here, 0.6 plus a negative 1.5. So that's the same as subtracting 1.5. And if you subtract that, you will have a negative 0.9. So that would be negative 0.9. And that's our final answer. I want to go back and do this part again. I want to show you what I did. I'm going to change the color. If you have 0.6 minus 1.5, remember the 0.6 is positive. So you're combining a negative and a positive. Remember the rules. If you have different signs, ignore the sign, subtract the smaller number from the larger number, and then give the sign that was with the larger absolute value number. So if I ignore the signs, I have 0.6 and I have 1.5. So I'll start with the larger number. I'll subtract the smaller number. So 6 from, I'm going to borrow from there, put that there. That gives me a 9. 0 from 0 is 0. Then I'm going to go back and give the sign of the larger number. And that's how I got that. And then that's the final answer. So we got 2 more problems. We have to distribute 5 through the quantity of 2x plus 5. And we're going to add that to 3. That will be multiplied by x squared plus 4x. So let's multiply through. 5 times 2 is 10x. Positive 5 times positive 5 is 25. Plus 3 times x squared is 3x squared. Plus 3 times 4 is 12x. What can we combine? We have 10x and 12x. That's the x's. What do we have for x squared? Only one term. So we start with that because it has an x squared. 3x squared. Then we have the x terms, 10x from plus 12x, which is 22x. And then we have our constant, our number by itself without a variable, 25. And this is a final answer. Now we have a word problem. Find the perimeter of a rectangle with side lengths of x plus 4 and 2x plus 1. So we're imagining a rectangle. And it's got sides of x plus 4 and then this side would be the same. And it's got 2x plus 1. So perimeter equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So here's the width, the short part, and the length is the long part. So let's go ahead and work our problem. So perimeter equals 2 times the length, which is 2x plus 1, plus 2 times the width, which is x plus 4. So you can see what we really need to do now is distribute. So 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times 2 is 2, and then we're adding, so we bring down the addition sign, and we distribute again. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 4 is 8, and that's a positive 8. So can we combine anything? We're not done yet. We've got 4x plus 2x. That's 6x. And then we have 2 plus 8, which is a positive 10. So 6x plus 10 is the perimeter of the rectangle. So let's write that down. And I hope you show your work somewhere on your paper. And let's get back to our exit ticket. Complete the steps for adding linear expressions. So let's complete those steps now. So first we use the distributive property. And you may not have to use that, but if you have to use that, do that if that's necessary. Then we combine like terms. And remember, we always have to use the distributive property before we combine like terms. And then finally, make sure we write the final expression with the exponents from largest to smallest. And that's it. Thank you for your hard work. And don't forget to show me your work to get your participation credit. Great job. Thanks for working today. And since today is Friday, I can say have a nice weekend, and with practice, you'll be great.